How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Tales from the Darkside. This is Season 3, Episode 11, and this one is entitled Seasons of Belief. This is from December 29th, 1986, directed by Michael McDowell, and stars E.G. Marshall and Margaret Klenck. The teleplay for this episode was actually written by the director himself, Michael McDowell there, but is based on a story by Michael Bishop. And if you guys have kept up with the channel for a bit, I've been covering a lot of Tales from the Darkside lately, and I've been doing pretty much the season episodes in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, but since it's Christmas time, I thought I'd skip ahead to this one because this is one of the show's Christmas episodes, From what I gather, there are 2 of them. Tell me if I'm missing any. But I believe it's this one from Season 3, Seasons of Belief. But in Season 4, which we'll get to pretty soon, there's the episode, The Yattering and Jack, based on a Clive Barker story. So I'll definitely be covering that one soon as well, and go ahead and talk about the show's Christmas episodes in honor of the season. So, jumping ahead to Seasons of Belief. And overall, I was pretty impressed with this episode. This episode is the epitome of doing a whole lot with just a little. Like, this is primarily the basis of this episode is parents telling a scary story to their kids. And when they tell the story, there's no flashbacks or animation or anything. It stays in this one house. You have 5 human characters and just basically a lower floor of a house as a set. And that's it. It's just characters in a room telling a story for most of it. For I believe this episode's 22-ish minutes long. Never gets boring. Keeps you enthralled. There's a weird, masterclass in pacing here, where, even though it's just one thing going on for the whole episode, you really want to know what happens next. There's a suspense, it's keeping you in there, and plus, this concept is just so freaking relatable, The idea that parents would be messing with their kids and telling them a scary story and getting them all spooked. It's something that's either happened to you or you've done it to someone else, Admittedly, I have messed with my younger cousins in the past, telling them ridiculous stories, and, my parents themselves, especially my dad, definitely did like to scare me. So this episode was just so relatable, and, I feel like you could have only done this episode, back in the 80s, if they remade this episode nowadays, they would have a bigger budget and they'd be way too tempted to try to animate or try to shoot, live action scenes for the story they're telling. But that would take you out of that little room, And only back then could you get away with doing something so small. But if you tried to make this bigger, it wouldn't work, because that's the thing with this story. It's small, but it's so relatable, and you do really feel like you're in the room with this nice little family. And overall, it's just an episode telling someone a scary story, but it feels like such a Christmas classic, and I'm just really amazed, just how much they did on such a small budget for this episode. And it really is remarkable, and I definitely recommend this episode to anyone around the Christmas season. It really is just so relatable, So that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot. I'm going to be avoiding the major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points, and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what this episode's about. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We open up with our nice little family. There's a mom and a dad who love each other really much, and 2 kids that are nice, even though they do fight a little bit, a little boy and a little girl. And, overall a nice family. They eat dinner together and say after dinner, no TV, we're going to spend Christmas Eve as a family, and, overall just a really nice concept that these people are gonna sit down and spend time as a family for the holidays. It's really nice and really sweet, Now, as they're cleaning up dinner, one of the kids acts up, and the mom tells the kid a story. The mom says, hey, if you act up, Santa has a switch with your name on it. Every kid in the world has their name and a little switch. And if you act up, Santa's gonna flip the switch, and right after you open your Christmas presents, this switch is gonna make them all break, So the idea that Santa could just flip a switch, you open your presents, and then right after they all just break, that's such a weird and creative threat that I could totally see really getting under a kid's head, But anyway, they go into the living room and find that the electric train around the bottom of the Christmas tree has come derailed and caused a small fire on one of the presents. And the kids go, oh no, is that Santa Claus? Did he do it because we were mean? So the parents see that they got their kids kind of gullible, They open the burnt present, the little girl gets to open one as well, and they're sitting there playing and reading and drawing and being nice, But they start to want a scary story, and keep in mind, the mom knows the kids are in a bit of a mood, So she's like, hey, well, the dad starts to tell it, and she starts to feed into it, She's like, oh, don't tell that story. Oh, it's too dangerous, it's too scary. Don't tell that story to the kids. And this has the predictable element of getting the kids amped up and getting them wanting to hear it. No, it's okay. You can tell me that story. It's not going to be too scary. And just the classic baiting to get the kids going. And the dad goes, okay, well, I can tell you this story. And he borrows the drawing pad and writes out this word on it. And he holds it up to the kids. And the older boy's like, the Grither. And the dad's like, oh no, you said it out loud. He's coming now. And they say that the Grither lives on the North Pole. And whenever anyone says his name, he can always hear it, and his ears grow a little bit bigger each time. And now that they said his name, he's coming for you. And he's gonna come and attack you unless we can finish this scary story. So even if they get scared, they have to finish the story, otherwise the Grither's gonna come. Kind of a Jumanji-esque concept, but I really did love this idea, and the kids are all there, and they're frightened, and if any little thing happens in the house, if something gets knocked over, or if they hear a noise, oh, it's just the wind, but the kids are like, no, it's the Grither's coming, and the story has all these fun little details, and, some of them you can tell were definitely just made up on the fly, but, all these interesting and creepy little details where they're talking about, oh, well, the Grither lives on the North Pole like Santa, and the dad picks up an atlas, and the kid's atlas, and just starts pointing at stuff that looks vaguely correct, and he's like, Santa lives here in the nicest, warmest spot of the North Pole, but then across this mountain range, the Grither lives in this hole, this cave, and it's one of the oldest and wettest places on Earth. And that's just great. And they talk about how the Grither has pale white skin with big red and blue veins. And what is it? The red veins are filled with rage, and the blue veins are filled with fear. And also, he has big, long, python-like arms. And when he catches you, he'll Grither you in, So that is crazy. But they also say, oh, well, how do we know so much about him? Well, he sings a song about himself. And the mom goes to the piano and starts, I think it's Come All Ye Faithful, Come All Ye Faithful. But of course the dad turns it to, I am the Grither. And this is really great, How many times do parents sing little songs but change them to be about what's going on, Overall, another hyper relatable moment, you know, and a nice little Grither song that he sings when he's coming with it, which is another element of tension there. But yeah, there's so many nice little things in this story, and they're like, oh, it's so creepy, you gotta finish, and then the dad will like get a phone call. He's like, oh, I've got to take this. And then the kid's like, no, you have to tell the story. You have to finish the story. Mom, while he's gone, tell the story. Oh, no, your father started it. He has to finish it. And there's just, you know, so many nice little things in this, so many relatable things, you know. And, but anyway, they start to tell the story, and the kids start to get real riled up. But also the audience, you know, if this happened in real life, we'd just say, oh, it's the parents messing with the kids. But the audience knows this isn't real life, and the audience knows that this is a Tales from the Darkside episode. So we start to wonder, okay, what's really going on here? Is there something real? Is something else going on, and the story is just altering their perception of it? And you know that this is going to build up to something, but you don't really know what. But you know that this is a Tales from the Darkside episode, so it does have to be something, right? But anyway, this episode, like I said before, is just so amazing that they could do all this and just, like I said, one set, parents telling stories to kids. It's so simple, yet it does so much. And I was just really impressed with this episode, how much that they were able to do. It was crazy, and the fact that they kept you entertained, they kept the audience pulled in, even when it was just one thing. So many other places this would be boring, but here it works out so well, and it's crazy, you know. But yeah, the epitome of doing a lot for a little, and I really do think that if you guys are low-budget filmmakers, definitely watch Tales from the Darkside episodes, because they really show you how to do a lot with a little, and this is like the perfect epitome of that, you know. And it keeps you reeled in for 22 minutes when so many other horror shorts can't keep you there for 8 minutes, you know. But anyway, I definitely recommend this. If this is around Christmas time, go watch it, you know. Definitely a Christmas classic episode. Definitely should watch it if it's Christmas time. It's just perfect. And hey, if you guys have kids, try to remember the Grither story to tell them. See if you can actually get them spooked. But anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You are really helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see more, you can click there and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.